same continent, same sunshine. But one of these countries costs 30% less, and most people book the wrong one. In this video, I'm going through every cost category: accommodation, food, transport, activities, and I'm going to show you where the gap is real, where it's smaller than you think, and the one thing about daily habits in Spain that completely changes the calculation for a lot of travelers. Welcome back. This channel is all about honest destination breakdowns, so you can travel smarter without spending more than you need to. Portugal versus Spain is one I've wanted to do for a while because everyone has a strong opinion, the internet is full of takes, and most of them miss the part that actually matters for your budget. Today, I'm going to give you the honest version, not the travel blog version. If you're planning a trip to either of these and you want the real numbers, subscribe. This kind of breakdown goes up every single week, and next Friday, I've got something that I think is going to surprise a lot of people. Let's start with where your money disappears fastest: accommodation. Lisbon has a problem. 5 years ago, it was the budget capital of Western Europe. Now, a decent private room in Alhambra runs $50 to $75 a night. Airbnb prices have caught up with Berlin and Amsterdam. If Lisbon is your entire Portugal trip, you are not getting the budget win you came for. But shift 50 kilometers east into the Alentejo, cork forests, ancient walled towns, vineyards that go to the horizon, and a beautiful guest house is $25 to $40 a night. Porto is still honest, $35 to $55 near the Ribeira. The country isn't expensive, the capital is. Spain has the exact same problem, just in a different city. Barcelona, $55 to $80, more in the Gothic quarter. Madrid is forgiving at $45 to $65, but Seville, $30 to $50. Granada near the Sacromonte Caves, $25 to $45. The inland Andalusian cities are some of the best value in all of Western Europe, and most people fly straight over them to get to Barcelona. Bottom line, compare Lisbon to Barcelona and Portugal wins. Compare Seville to Porto and Spain wins. The city you pick matters more than the country. Overall edge, Portugal, but only if you don't plant yourself in Lisbon for a week. Now, before we get into the cost of getting around, let's talk about what you're actually going there for. Because this is where the two countries feel genuinely different. Portugal's best things are often free or nearly free. The Alfama viewpoints in Lisbon, some of the most beautiful city views in Europe, cost nothing. The Alentejo villages, the Atlantic beaches, the Douro Valley at sunset, free. Where you will spend money is Sintra. Pina Palace is $16 to $20, and a full day there with transport runs $40 to $50. Worth it. It genuinely looks like a Disney castle that someone built in the 1800s before Disney existed. The Belém Tower and the Tile Museum are $8 to $12 each, and both outstanding. Spain has more must-pay headline attractions, and they've gotten more expensive. The Alhambra in Granada is $16 and one of the most extraordinary buildings on Earth. But you need to book weeks in advance because visitor numbers are capped. Don't skip it. Sagrada Familia in Barcelona is now $30 to $35 for timed entry. The Prado in Madrid is $16, but here's a free hack. It's free on Monday evenings and Saturday after 5 p.m. Verdict: Spain wins on sheer volume of headline experiences. Portugal wins on the fact that most of its magic doesn't cost anything. If you love architecture and iconic landmarks, Spain. If you love landscapes, small towns, and just wandering, Portugal. Transport. Spain wins this one, and it isn't close. Portugal's network is fine for a small country. Lisbon to Porto is $3 and $20 to $35. Trams and metro in Lisbon cost $1.80 a ride. But to reach the really beautiful inland parts, the Alentejo, the Douro, you'll want a rental car, which adds $30 to $50 a day. Spain has the AVE, one of the best high-speed rail networks in the world. Madrid to Seville in 2.5 hours for $30 to $60 booked ahead. Madrid to Barcelona in under 3 hours. Fast, comfortable, and affordable if you're not booking the night before. The Madrid Metro is excellent at $1.70 to $2.50 a ride. The catch: Spain is big. Barcelona to Granada is still a half-day journey. But for getting between major cities without thinking about it, Spain is the easier country to move around. Edge: Spain. Here's the one that almost never comes up, and it should, because it adds up fast. Coffee in Portugal is 80 cents to $1.20 for a proper espresso. Standing at a zinc counter in a local cafe, one of the great pleasures of traveling there, costs less than $1. In Spain, a café con leche at a regular bar is fine at $1.20 to $1.80. But in tourist-heavy Barcelona, it creeps to $3, $4, sometimes $5 at a terrace. 2 coffees a day over 2 weeks in Barcelona versus Lisbon. That's a $70 gap on coffee alone. Wine follows the same pattern. Portuguese Vinho Verde at dinner is $2 to $4 a glass. Spanish house wine similar. But in San Sebastian or beachfront Barcelona, you're looking at $8 to $12 easily. Across a 2-week trip for 2 people, these daily habits add up to $80 to $200 more in Spain than Portugal. That's 2 extra nights at a guest house. It matters. Food is last on this list, not because it doesn't matter, but because in both countries, if you eat like a local, you won't go wrong. Portugal's move is the prato do dia, a full lunch plate of fish or meat with sides and bread for $7 to $10. It's everywhere outside the tourist zones, and it's one of the best deals in European travel. Daily food budget eating well, $15 to $22. Spain's version is the Menú del Dia, 3 courses, bread, and usually a drink for $12 to $15. More expensive per meal, but you're getting more. And in Seville and Granada specifically, ordering a drink at most bars gets you a free tapa with it. Order 3 drinks, you've essentially had dinner. Daily food budget, $18 to $28. Portugal is cheaper on food, but Spain's tapa culture means the gap is smaller than the numbers suggest, especially if you know which cities to use it in. Right, the real budget breakdown. Portugal is cheaper, meaningfully cheaper, about 20 to 25% across a full trip if you're avoiding Lisbon in peak season and spending time in Porto, the Alentejo, and inland. Budget traveler daily spend, $55 to $80. Mid-range, $90 to $130. Spain, $65 to $95 on a budget, $110 to $160 mid-range. The gap is real. But here's my honest take. Spain gives you more at the mid-range level, more cities worth visiting, more transport connections, more variety in what you do and see. The extra 20% you spend there buys something. Portugal is for the slower trip. Fewer cities, longer stays, the kind of place where you stumble into a village in the Alentejo and just stop for 3 days because it's that good. That trip, Portugal wins easily. Choose Portugal if budget is the priority. You want to slow down? You're flying from the US East Coast where Lisbon has some of the best transatlantic fares going, or you have under 10 days. Choose Spain if you want to cover serious ground. This is your first big Europe trip and you want to tick a lot of boxes, or you're willing to spend slightly more for a busier, more varied experience. Either way, go. Both of these countries are extraordinary, and neither of them will disappoint you. Portugal or Spain? I genuinely want to know which side you land on and what your reason is. Drop it in the comments. If you've been to both, tell me which one surprised you more on the actual costs. Subscribe if this was useful. 2 honest destination comparisons a week, every week.